Guyana. I am Alesha Ramsey, and it is my pleasure to welcome and to introduce to you the West Side Story. West Side Story is a program designed to focus on various communities in Region 3, and of course it will highlight some of government's efforts and government's projects to provide that good life for the residents and the citizens of Region 3 that government continues to promise our citizens. Stay with me as I take you through this first journey of the West Side Story. Region 3, also described as Essequibo Islands West Demerara, is a region of Guyana split in two by the Essequibo River. It is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean to the north, the region of Demerara Mahaica to the east, Upper Demerara Berbice to the south, and Pomeroon Supernam to the west. Some of the major and popular towns and communities in this region are Porica, Iflot, Vredenhoop, Hog Island, Wakenham, and Legwan. Like all other regions in Guyana, Region 3 is administered by a Regional Democratic Council RDC, which is headed by a chairman. The region is divided into neighborhood councils known as Neighborhood Democratic Councils, NDCs. The APNU-AFC Regional Member of Parliament for Region 3 is John Adams, and the minister who holds responsibility for that region constituency is Minister of State Joseph Harmon. In upcoming editions of West Side Story, we will take you into the heart of the various communities of this region. West Side Story will highlight government's efforts and projects right here in this region as it continues on the path to providing that good life for all Guyanese. On this first edition on West Side Story, however, you will get an introduction to the officials who will help the government to fulfill its mandate for this region and satisfy the needs of the residents living here. In September of this year, Minister of State Joseph Harmon gave the Region 3 Regional Democratic Councillors a mandate to assist in providing a good life for their communities. Minister Harmon is adamant that it is important that APNU-AFC's pre-campaign promise of providing a good life for all Guyanese be delivered sooner rather than later, and is ready to give the APNU-AFC Region 3 councillors guidance and support for that promise to become a reality. Today, Region 3 Regional Democratic Councillors remain active in their communities as they are in touch with the grassroots citizens. West Side Story will now introduce you to those councillors. Ms. Kathleen Armstrong is one of the councillors in Region 3, APNU-AFC councillors in Region 3, and she is also on a mission to help Guyanese living in Region 3 to get that good life that the government continues to promise our citizens. Kathleen, thanks for being on West Side Story. All right, let's talk about some of the areas in this region that you have responsibilities for.
I am responsible for the villages from Stewartville right on to Nouvelle Flanders. It takes in approximately 11 villages.
And what are some of the things that you believe that needs work in those villages, those 11 villages that you're responsible for?
Well, within those villages, we have drainage issues. We also have farming issues where our dams from the planting section to the village itself needs grading and upgrading. And so we have lots of issues with regards dams. We also have issues with regards the residents.
Just highlight one of the first communities that you would like to start work on, especially getting support from government.
Well, the first community I'd like to start with is the community in which I live, and that's Denhamstel Fellowship. We have a youth camp that really needs refurbishing, a youth camp that can become an international venue. And with the track and field, the synthetic track and field just next door, if we are really to have international events, then that facility can be used to house athletes coming from overseas. In fact, when I was a girl, that used to be a camp and many Guyanese camped over there. The closeness to the seaside and its close proximity to the road makes it an absolutely gorgeous facility for camping and for international stay.
All right. Well, Kathleen, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing some of your works and efforts with government support to get all the things that you talked about, to get all of those things achieved. As I continue here on West Side Story this week and continue to profile some of the APNU AFC's Region 3 councillors, it is my pleasure now to be talking with Miss Cherry Gold. Cherry Gold is one of those councillors, and she's ready to tell you all about her efforts to lend support to the government of Guyana as they continue to provide that good life for all Guyanese, especially to those residents currently in Region 3. Cherry, welcome to West Side Story. Let's now talk about some of those communities in Region 3 that you have direct responsibility for.
Okay, my area of responsibilities are from praying to Parfait Harmony.
And what are some of the first set of projects that government will be undertaking in those communities?
Okay, well, we already started. We're doing the trains, we're doing some streets, and we're doing like the embankment, the Coker embankment. We already started some of those. Okay,
well, I look forward to taking that journey with you as you also contribute to helping government fulfill that good life. But before we go, tell us a little more about yourself and what you're expecting in terms of the response from members of the community to, again, support government in providing the good life.
Yes, well, I'm expecting that residents give us their full cooperation as we go along the journey.
All right. Thank you very much, Cherry, and we look forward to working with you and look forward to having you again here on West Side Story.
Thank you, Malika, for having me.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Anand Suku, yet another APNU AFC council right here in Region 3, and I'll let him tell you all about the communities that he's responsible for. Mr. Suku, welcome to West Side Story. Let's talk about your communities.
I'm responsible for the community from Iflot to Greenwich Park on the east bank of Essequibo. It's a very long neighborhood. Almost about 20 villages makes up that community from Iflot to Greenwich Park.
What are some of the projects, or I should ask you, what is the immediate project that you will be undertaking?
We're having a lot of projects going on, like the educational programs, we have the security program, we have the agricultural program, we have the health system program, we have finance program going on in our community. And basically that in the works community, we have a lot of ongoing projects by governments. Example, building of schools, hospitals, guard huts, and etc.
All right.
That is plenty going on in this community.
All right. Anand Prasad Suku, thank you very much for being here on West Side Story. And I look forward to you allowing West Side Story to take on that journey with you as you become involved, more deeply involved in some of those projects that you're undertaking to improve the communities that you're responsible for in Region 3. Thank you very much again, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Mandy Studios is the youngest Region 3 APNU AFC councillor, and of course she's here to tell me all about the communities that she's responsible for and some of the projects that she will be taking on along with support from the government of Guyana. Mandy, welcome to West Side Story.
Thank you, Malika. It's an honor to be here today, and we are working to improve the lives of people of Region Number 3 because we know some of the living conditions that they've been living under is not up to standard. Our communities, they are very poor and run down. The infrastructures that are there is not as recommended by the Geneva Convention. So we're trying to improve all of these things to improve the people's living condition that we have in our environment, to have a safe environment for our children where our pregnant mothers can access possible health care, and we can improve all the living conditions for them, all standards. This government is of the view that everybody should be able to live a standardized life in which everybody is competent.
Okay, now let's talk about some of those communities. If you can mention them, just give me a quick rundown of some of the communities that you have responsibility for.
Well, I am tasked with the responsibility of Hydroni, Good Hope, that's the NDC, that's from Hydroni to the Good Hope. The cutoff junction would be the dam that separates Greenwich Park and Good Hope. In those communities, we did, for instance, at Ruby, we did the ground there because the sports facility was down and out for a number of years. So we recently had the ground with an uplift so that the youths can go out and participate, they can play and they can practice and they can have recreational time. We also did some work at the Perika Facade area. We're currently working to ensure that they have portable water and electricity in the area. We also did some work at Anna Katrina. That is, there they had some problems with persons having permanent structures and they were not being able to have them regularized over 20 odd years. So these are areas that we've already completed projects on.
Still on New Road, Vreeden Hoop, over here on the west side in Region 3. It is my pleasure now to be talking with another councillor, Mr. Perri Ball, and he will tell you about the regions that he holds responsibility for. Perri, good morning and welcome to West Side Story.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about those regions that you have responsibility for in this, the communities that you have responsibility for in this region.
As you rightly said before, I'm from Region 3, as well as West Demerara. My catchment area is Wakanam and the Lower Islands. That include Truly Island, Hog Island, the main carrier to Saxakali.
All right, let's talk about some of the projects now that you'll be getting government support from in terms of contributing to the good life, the green life for Guyanese.
What we're looking for a good life for the people on Wakanam specifically at this time is that we need proper roads. And so long as we have proper roads, that is one of the plus for this government. That is priority. The second, we have to look at the schedule of the ferry flying Perika to Wakanam. We also needed at this time, it will be a long-term program to have better water, treated water. We need a water plant for Wakanam.
Okay.
And that would take us somewhere better than what we are.
Have you gotten commitments from the current government yet to have these things addressed?
Yeah, we raised it from Harman at a meeting, and we were able to address, and they're looking at it to see what priority they will look and when they would do it.
Okay. Harry Lorayne Diokinan is another one of those councillors, and he is ready to tell you all about the communities that he holds responsibility for. Harry, brother Harry, welcome to West Side Story. Let's talk about some of those areas that you're overseeing in terms of giving support to government and giving support to our own people.
Well, I'm a councillor here now for the second term, and I am responsible now under the APNU AFC for Perika on the left side, which is Perika Bagdam, Salem, and go down Hubu, and some riverine area, some of these islands also, Aliki and Murshi and all these areas, Monsika also. At present now, I am really focused primarily on Perika Bagdam. Perika Bagdam is an area that was, for the past years, those people have never had electricity, never have water supply, they never had a proper road. And thank God now they have got a wonderful road, they have got electricity now, and I am embarking right now, I have said in the project, that we're going to, under the APNU AFC, we will make sure they get water supply. Also, the Perika Bagdam, most of the young people, after farming, they would be all around the place. Because of that, there is a ground there that we have seen fit to put into reality and make a pavilion there. And that's going to be done through the farming. There is a farming group there that is headed by Mr. Kathleen Armstrong. Already, I have now set up those things, and that is going to go through the Ministry of Sports. So in this, I think by time next year, the Perika Bagdam will have that facility in place for the young people. And one of the things that is really frustrating our young people here that even come down from the former administration also is our young people have been scattered and they have been involved in smoking of dope and they have been bad in gangs and all these things. So sports will enhance them and bring them back so we can have wonderful young people who will be the future of today and tomorrow. Also at Perika Bagdam, I remember in my 3 years last as a councillor, I always keep bringing up there is a heavy-duty bridge that over 25 farmers used to use to come across that trench to come on the main road. And I could see the posts have rot. The beam has gone. These people are patching it and they're using it. Under the PPP administration, I brought it up about 3 times at this RDC year, Region 3. And there was always a problem for that. That bridge was built over 20 years by the Burusiri Co-op Society. The farmers are really suffering there. I went there, I had a meeting with them, and I already set up a plan. So I already take out a picture of the bridge and sending it to the relevant ministry. So that is one of our projects also, so that farmers can be eased. You know, coming through Perri Ball Dam, over that road, and you're having all those cash crop and those things, fruits can damage. And this government is a caring government. And because of our caring, we want to make those farmers happy so that they can get a good bridge to come over.
All right. Okay, Brother Harry, thank you very much. That was a mouthful. West Side Story looks forward to taking this journey with you.
Thank you very much, Mrs.
This first edition of West Side Story continues right here in front of the Vredenhoop Stelling, and I am here with another councillor, APNU AFC councillor, Mr. Leroy Lovins. Leroy Lovins will tell you all about the communities that he's responsible for right here on the West Side. Mr. Lovins, welcome to West Side Story. Thank you very much for being here. Let's talk about some of those communities that you have responsibility for.
Yes, thank you, Malaika. Now, the areas of my responsibility are from La Grange to Potosi on the West Bank, even to Canal 1 and 2. So those are the areas where I'm responsible to look at the needs of the people within those areas.
Okay, all right, great. Any project in the works, maybe in the next few months or so, that would benefit people, that people in the communities can benefit from?
Yes, one day at Stanley Town on the West Bank.
Yes.
There is a sea defense bridge, on a fracture on the sea defense there, and whenever the water is up, the tide is up, the water keeps flowing. And that's one of the areas that I made representation that need to be done urgently.
Okay.
Also, there are major roads. In Canal 1, the main road is in a terrible state, a lot of holes and so forth.
Okay.
And also there are individual streets in villages that need to be done urgently.
Okay, have you yet gotten a commitment from the Minister of State, Minister Harman? And for those of you, of course, who've recently joined, Minister Harman is the government minister with some responsibility for Region 3. Have you yet gotten a commitment from himself and government to help you in terms of undertaking works to improve the situations that you've just identified?
No, well, at the RDC level, the project was, I have put as one of the works that need to be done urgently. That is the Stanley Town Sea Defense.
Okay.
But it was said at RDC that that's the area where central government will have to address.
Okay.
And so I expect that come in the next budget, that would be one of the areas that would be addressed. Also, these individual roads that are being deteriorating rapidly.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Mr. Lovins.
Okay.
West Side Story looks forward to taking that journey with you to contribute to improving the lives of the citizens of Region 3.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Alesha Ramlakhan is another APNU AFC councillor who is doing some work in Region 3 community. Alesha, welcome to West Side Story.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about the communities that you do work in for the APNU AFC government.
Well, my community is from Maripa to Corica. And I would like to see that in this new government that we try our best to work with our government that we can establish the best of our government, because the people looking forward to us that we must work together as one, and we must not have this kind of division. So right now I am working, I already did some projects already, and I'm looking forward to do more projects.
All right. Thank you very much, Alesha, and West Side Story looks forward to working with you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. In the coming weeks, these councillors will focus on proposed projects and other developmental works for their communities. They will now transform from campaign mode to government working mode, and areas that have been neglected for years will get the necessary tools and equipment for development under the new administration. The Region 3 Regional Democratic Councillors have basically pledged their dedication and commitment to improving that region. The 9 APNU AFC Region 3 Democratic Councillors are Kathleen Armstrong, Sherry Gold, Alesha Ramlakhan, Anand Prasad Sukho, Perri Ball, Lorayne, Leroy Lovins, Harry Narayan Diokinand, and Mandy Studios. Additionally, Region 3 Democratic Councillors are Mohammed Hussein, Leota Green Watson, Nazir Ahmad, Yedat, Lyndon Fowler, Derek Thakur, Paul Narayan, Amelia Ali, Bishpati, Jai Narayan, Stephen Singh, Nirmal Ganesh, Chandrauti Saran, Mahendra Hardial, and Ranjina Mahadio. The regional chairman is Julius Faber. The government of Guyana believes that it is its duty to meet the people's needs because it is the servant of the people. And that's just about all the time I have with you here on West Side Story for this week. I am Alesha Ramsey. Thank you very much for joining us for this first edition. And of course, I encourage you to tune in every week as we continue to highlight government's efforts and government's projects to provide that good life for all Guyanese, specifically on this program for the Guyanese and residents living right here in Region 3 on the West Side. Take care.